Welcome back, everyone. There was like this pause, like kind of looked at each other.
I just didn't know what to do. Okay. Welcome back. It's episode 8. Can you believe it?
Of Not My Cup of Tea.
Not my cup of tea.
And this episode is going to be about
Friends. The real, the fake, and the toxic.
Dun, dun, dun.
I literally was going to say that. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So this episode is going to be a roller coaster.
I think so too.
I think it's going to be a little roller coaster. Mainly because there's so many different types of friendships.
So many.
Just, it's crazy. I think about my friendships, even past friendships, and I'm just like, whoa, like, the revolving door of friends is just crazy.
And I think it's just such a revolving door because over the years, you've changed. So you're a different person.
Yes.
So therefore, you're around different kinds of friends.
Exactly. Wow, that's a good point. Mm-hmm. So this week's episode, Gabby actually came up with the topic. So what was the inspiration behind this episode?
So my inspiration was, I was just like a little down in the dumps, like the past couple days. I feel like, I get it. Like, we're all busy. We're going through a national pandemic. I get it. But I feel like I've been getting lately, let's hang out soon, or, miss you. And it's just like, at that point, it's just like, yeah, like, I miss you too. I love you too. But it's like, I feel like I'm getting to the point now where if you're going to tell me, let's hang out soon, we should hang out soon.
Yeah, like, actually do it.
Yeah, I feel like I've been getting like a lot of like empty just words lately, and it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea lately, and I'm very like picky with who I decide to like give my time to. As I've gotten older, I've like realized like, my time's valuable, like my love and like friendship is valuable, so it's like I'm very picky with who I decide to like give that to, and I just like feel like like the same effort hasn't been reciprocated as much to me as I feel like I've kind of given it before. So that was kind of my inspiration, because as of late I'm just like kind of over it a little bit.
I feel that. I feel like too with the pandemic it's been so difficult because like you have those friends who are down to hang out, and you have those friends who, are not, and then you have friends that are like, okay, let's just like get tested and hang out, or like whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's just like, if they're willing to put in the effort and you're willing to put in the effort, then it works out.
Then it happens.
But if it's only one-sided, then what's the point?
Right.
So I definitely understand. Like, I get what you're saying. I feel that.
So I think since like we're just kind of like on the topic of friends, we kind of just want to talk about the different kinds.
The different types of friends. Yes.
So we should take a quick time to shout out our sponsors. Sponsored by Remy Martin, but not really.
Definitely not really. Definitely not.
Real quick. So Alexis had a friend over. We had like a little. I don't know what you want me to call him.
No, it's
okay. Entanglement of the night. I don't know.
Let's not.
You're right.
Too far. Of the night, Jesus Christ. It's not even that bad.
It's just 31 flavors.
I'm gonna eat you.
You're right.
Anyways.
Out of the line. Anyways, so Alexis had a friend over, and he brought a bottle of Remy Martin. I was like, I've actually like never had that before.
Yeah, neither have I.
And I was like, oh, okay, this guy's looking for a good time. Brought a whole ass bottle. I was like, cool. And he brought some cranberry juice and mixed that shit together. It is so
delicious.
Good.
Yeah.
It is so good, and it's kind of like my little go-to now. So haven't seen the guy in a while, but that was his purpose in life, to bring me this combination of Remy Martin and cranberry juice.
Shout out. Shout out.
So shout out to him.
Yes. I literally can't.
Anyways. Back on topic.
Talk about something else now. Okay, anyways, so can't even get my fucking train of thought right now.
So we wanted to start off with fake friends. Have you ever had some fake friends in your life? And if so, like, what were those, like, experiences?
Okay, so I feel like there's different types of fake friends. So I feel like you have fake friends in the sense of like you're more acquaintances, but you run in the same friend groups, so you're a little bit more than acquaintances.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like if I see you, like I'll carry a conversation with you. I'll be like, "Hey, girl, like you look good,"
Yeah,
like blah blah blah. But it's like I'm not necessarily being fake, but it's like you're not actually my friend, but you're not quite an acquaintance either. So I feel like it falls under the category of fake friends, but it's not like in a negative way. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've had and I currently do have like a few of those types of relationships where it's more of like we're just really good acquaintances, I guess you could say.
So it's like not super fake, but kind of like fake as in like you and I both know we're not as close as it seems as like on the surface just because we hang out in the same friend group.
Exactly.
Like maybe you both have that mutual friend like you're both really close to, so it's like by association you're kind of like, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like at the same time like you have no reason to ever be disrespectful or like rude. So it's like you're gonna be nice to them, you're gonna carry like a cool conversation with them, but you're not just you don't consider them, like, you're not going to call them if you get a flat tire, basically, type of thing. So I do have some of those friendships. I feel like that's just, like, life, honestly. You just have, like, those people. But as far as, like, an actual fake friend, like, a person who acts like your friend and then, like, is quick to just, like, stab you in the back or, like, do some dumb shit, I definitely feel like I had a lot of those in high school. I feel like now that I'm grown, I don't tolerate it as much, or at least if I like recognize that they're like that, I won't tolerate it. But I definitely feel like in high school I had a lot of those. I had a lot of people who like we would, you know, like show up at a party together and then all of a sudden I'm alone because they went to go hook up with somebody in another room, and I'm just like, bitch, the fuck, you know, like what the fuck,
right?
And then I don't know, I just feel like there is a lot of those. I had one girl in particular. I talked about it in like one of our other episodes very briefly, but let me tell you this story. It happened my freshman year of high school, so like obviously it's not a big deal now.
Yeah.
But I was in high school. Actually, you know what? It all started the summer before I was going into high school.
Okay.
So I went to a summer camp for like sports and stuff, and I like made it on a sports team. And I became, like, best friends with this girl. And we were really good friends. Like, we hung out every single day. I went to her house. I lived pretty far from where I went to high school. Okay. So I would always, like, stay at her house until someone was able to pick me up, like, later.
Oh, okay.
So I hung out with her all the time. Then going into freshman year of high school, I ended up dating this guy, and honestly, I don't know what his business was dating me or my business was dating him, because he wasn't in high school anymore. He had just graduated, and I was
how old were you?
I was 14. I was going into high school. I mean, he was 18.
A whole ass pedo.
Stop it. Don't say that. Stop it. If
you knew someone now,
I would for sure think it's fucking weird, but stop. Okay. We're not going to say that. It's not the episode that we're on.
You're right.
But anyways, so regardless, I had no fucking business. He had no business. Whatever. It was what it was. But he helped out at the school a lot. That's why, and he had siblings that were still in the school. That's how we were introduced.
Okay.
So it wasn't like he was just hanging around and like
on the school grounds.
Yeah, it's not like that. It was very like natural. But yeah, so I started talking to him or whatever, and then he drove and stuff. So like we would go out on dates, like we would go to the movies, or we would go.
And you
like,
probably thought that was like, oh, super cute of him that
so
he like drove.
Cute. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna pick me up from school. Hey, daddy.
Oh god.
I'm just kidding. No, but it was, I mean, at the time, like, being a young, naive, like, idiot that I was like, oh my god, like, you know, so cute. So whatever, he asked me to be his girlfriend, like, later on. And then we were together for, like, a few months. And then I was still, like, really good friends with this girl. Like, I'm telling you, we hung out every single day. And, she didn't have a phone, so she would use my phone in order to text other people, or she would use other people's phones in order to text other people through her email, and or MySpace or whatever. And it got to the point where, like, I started kind of hanging out with him a little bit more. Like, he would pick me up from practice, and we would go, like I said, like, to the movies or whatever. And then it got to the point where all of a sudden she was like, hey, can I go with you? So it would be, like, me and him at the movies, and then, like, her there, too.
She, like,
and
purposely wants a third wheel.
Yeah, and then it was, like, we would hang out, and then, like, she would be there, too. And, like, I thought it was kind of weird. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, like, I mean, I guess. I'm not going to be rude. Like, I was like, okay, like, you know, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And so she would come. And then one day out of nowhere, he's like, basically, like, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, where is this coming from? Like, you know, I'm so confused. And then I want to say maybe 2 days after that. Maybe not even 2 days. Maybe, like, a day after that. I was in the quad. And I remember this clear as day because one of my best guy friends, like, literally saved me from getting my ass beat. But not by her. Let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
So...
Escalated so quickly.
So, anyways, one of our mutual friends comes up to me. And she's like, hey, Alexis, like, I think you should see something. And I was like, okay. And that friend that I had been hanging out with every single day had asked to use her phone to text somebody. So she hands me her phone, and right away I recognize the number. Right away. And they're telling each other they love each other.
Oh my God.
They're the peanut butter to their jelly.
Oh my God.
Like, they're the fucking moon to their stars.
Jesus.
Like, just disgusting.
So they were long talking before he broke up with you, for sure.
You know what I think it was?
Had to have been.
And I'm not even trying to throw her under the bus because, like, I really don't know. I didn't even ask. I didn't care to ask. I think at that point in time, she was more sexually advanced than I was. Like, I wasn't really down to do stuff. Mm-hmm. And she was. And I think she made that clear to him. And a guy that age, that's what he wants.
He's a teenager.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that was more so what happened. But like I said, like, I didn't even care to ask. Like, so anyway, so I found out. And right then and there, I literally tell our mutual friend, I was like, thanks for telling me. Handed her phone back. And then where our quad was, it was like,
that's kind of a real friend.
Yeah, 100%. There was a flagpole in the middle of our, like, quad area where we all had lunch. And then she was at one wall, and I was, like, on the other side. So I go and I walk up to her, and just like that, like, and the craziest part is, as I'm walking to her, one of my best guy friends that I've known since, like, literally the 5th grade, he comes up to me and he's like, hey, you good? Because I think, like, literally, like, I looked like I was gonna murder somebody.
You definitely probably looked like you were out for some blood.
I guess I looked crazy. And he came up to me, he's like, hey, you good? He, like, literally stopped talking to the people that he was talking to just to stop me in my tracks and be like, hey, you good? And I was like, I'm fine. Kept walking. And I go over to her, and when I go over to her, he follows me. God bless his heart. So he follows me. I go over to her, and I was like, hey, like, are you fucking talking to so-and-so? And she didn't even deny it. She says, well, you guys broke up. That was her response. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I just, like, lost it. Like, lost it. Because that was my best friend at the time. So, like, I lost it. And I was like, you're so fucking stupid. And I, like, brought my arm up, like, ready to, like, I was going to hit her. Mind you, I've never been in a fight before. Ever in my life. And I literally brought my fist up like I was ready to hit her. And this girl had, like, I can't even, like, say it without giving it away, but whatever. This girl had a twin sister and was, like, also best friends with twin sisters. So, like, I was, like, ready to, like, they were going to kick my ass if I even touched her. But I was, like, fully prepared to take it.
You're ready for it. Yeah.
So they all stand up. And I, like, throw my fist up. Then the bell rings. Everybody's, like, moving. My guy friend that followed me over there picks me up, like, literally grabs me by my arm that I had just lifted and, like, hugs me, like, full on, like, just grabs me through my, like, totally wrapped around and lifts me up, like, I wish you could see me right now. Just, like, lifts me up all the way. And carries me all the way to the other side of the school. And
I like this guy friend a lot.
Yeah. And he was like, don't be a fucking idiot. You're going to get your ass kicked. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. And he's like, not by them, by your dad. I was like, oh my God, you're right. And then after that, like, we were obviously not friends anymore. And then she tried to flip it on me, saying that, like, I was, like, crazy or, like, whatever. But I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done. So... After that, like, I hated her for a very, very long time.
Course,
Like, I did not fuck with her. And then it actually caused problems, like, even later on, because we played on the same, like, sports team and, like, all this stuff. So it caused a lot of problems.
So you're stuck with her for 4 years.
Well, she ended up leaving. I want to say, like, our junior year she left, or sophomore year, something like that. But there was a whole situation that happened, and her and her sister ended up leaving. So it was, like, fine. But, yeah, it was, like, a problem for, like, a while. But that was definitely, she was, like, my best friend. So it was super weird that happened. That was the first experience I feel like I had where I genuinely felt like somebody that I was super close to had stabbed me in the back, like, fully. And the thing was, is I wasn't even super in love with that guy. Like, it wasn't, like, I had only been dating him for a few months, so it wasn't even, like, I mean, I guess it wasn't worse. Yeah, like, it wasn't even, like, worst case scenario, I guess. But it's, like, I for sure do not tolerate. Yeah, I will not tolerate, like, someone stabbing me in the back. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And then, like, the thing is, too, is, like, I feel like I'm a really loyal friend. I've fucked up once, and I've vowed to never do it again. And even with that friend, we're still friends till this day. But, like, it took a lot for us to get past it. And I was quick to, like, be like, I'm sorry. Like, I fucked up. Like, and I know I did. But after that happened, I, like, vowed to myself.
Like, lesson learned.
Yeah, like, I will never put, like, my friend through that, or any of my friends, or myself. Ever again, because it was just not worth it. Like, it wasn't.
So that's just, like, a bad reflection on your character. Exactly. And after that, like, you just get a rep.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, I feel like for me, that's my story with, like, a fake-ass friend. And, of course, there's been, like, people like that, like, there was people like that throughout high school. Yeah. I feel like I was a little more aware. And I'm kind of glad that happened to me literally the beginning of my freshman year. Because even though it did, like, in a sense, like, kind of make things harder for me relationship-wise, I feel like friendship-wise, I was a lot more picky with the people that I surrounded myself with, or, like, told things to, like, personal things to. Yeah. Because I realized very quickly, like, you can't trust everyone. So
it's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah. So I feel like that was very, like, beneficial, even though it did, like, really suck. But have you experienced any, like, fake friends?
Honestly, nothing like that. Like, thank God. I feel like I probably would have reacted the same way you did. Yeah. But I feel like it, like, I guess it does kind of, like, relate to you in a sense where it's, like, because of a freaking boy were girls, like, fake to me. So, like, when I was with this person, like, I've never been one to care if, like, my, you know, boyfriend, whatever, acquaintance, like, guy I was talking to, I've never cared if they've had, like, girls who are friends. You know, like, I'm not psycho, like, you can't talk to any other female. Like, you know, I'm not like that. But it's, like, those girls is just, like, I feel like we're fake to me in a sense. Because it's, like, they'd be like, oh, my God, hey, like, you know, like, try and be my friend. And it's, like, cool. Like,
but the first one to call out your flaws to him, like, and be like, hey, like, look, she's crazy.
Or, like, you know, like, how are you guys? And just, like, try and, like, you know, talk about, like, the relationship or whatever it may be. Or it's, like, I've, like, literally caught messages of, like, them being, like, shady. Because it's, like, hello, it's, like, my boyfriend's phone. Like, you don't think I know, like, what's exactly going down in there to the T? You don't think I know? I know. So it's just, like, girls are so stupid. Like, you really think, I'm sorry, but it's, like, it's going to sound a little crazy, but it's, like, the girlfriend is always going to find out what you're telling your guy. Especially if there's, like, messages involved.
Especially if you and your boyfriend get into an argument, they will be the first ones to drop dimes on their girlfriends and be like, well, so-and-so pointed out this, and so-and-so said this. Yep. You don't think so? But they will, because, like, their girlfriend pointed, I'm air quoting, their girlfriends, like, are pointing it out. They're going to be that's going to be the first thing they throw in your face. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, well, another girl noticed. So, like, yeah, I noticed.
Right. So it's like, I've had that experience. And it's just like, I'm thinking like we're cool. Our friends like, oh, cool, you know. And it's just like, in a sense, I feel like that's just like super manipulative. Like, you really want me to just have my guard down for what reason? Like, do you, like, I don't mean to sound like one of those, but it's like, do you want my man? But then all of a sudden, when you confront them about that kind of thing, they're like, I don't want your man.
Yeah,
like,
oh my God, how can you say that?
Yeah, but it's just like, then you're just being a bitch then. Like, I don't know. But it's like, yeah, I've had like a couple girls just have like kind of like inappropriate conversations with them, and it's just like, honestly, it's the guy's fault too, because he was an idiot and just like not being like, hey, you know, I kind of got a girlfriend, probably shouldn't be talking about these things. So it's like, by all means, it's the guy's fault too. Like, you know, I'm not super naive. Or it's just like, you know, that girl would bring, you know, her girlfriends around. And
I think that's a big issue.
And it's just like, obviously it's like,
because there's no loyalties there.
Yeah, there's no loyalty. Like, honestly, like, my kind of saying is just like, a hoe is gonna be a hoe. She does not owe you loyalty like your man does. And that's the truth 100%. Of it. So it's like, by all means, be upset and angry with your man all you want, but that girl who's trying to hate on him, kiss him, hit him up, whatever it may be, she doesn't owe you shit. If
not
she wants to be a hoe,
friend,
yeah, not unless she's actually your friend. Like, she's just gonna be a hoe. That's what they do.
Yep, 100%.
So it's like, yeah. So it's like, I've learned to, like, I try not to be too, like, reary of, like, you know, other girls who are friends with, like, whatever guy I may be talking to. But it's just like, just from like my past experiences, I've kind of learned just to, like, kind of like have like that, like, you know, that third eye open.
Yeah. Be aware.
Yeah, but I'm never just going to be that, like, bitter girl that's just like, oh, no, I don't like her. Like, or, you know, she's too pretty. Or, like, you know, I don't like you guys talking so much. I don't like it. Like, I'm never going to do that. But it's just like, I've seen the fakeness. I've seen it.
So, let's bring in our segment really quick. So, is your significant other... Whoa. Whoa. It's a drink for me. Anyways.
Back it up.
So let me rephrase. Okay, so is this or is this not your cup of tea? Is it okay for your significant other to have a girl best friend? Best friend. It's not just a friend. It's like the person that he goes to when you guys are fighting, tells everything to you. For fuck's sake, she's probably seen a picture of your vagina. Like a girl best friend.
No.
No?
No. I think, let me explain.
Okay.
So, first of all, that's supposed to be my best friend.
Okay.
You know? Like, you know, when people get married, you're my best friend. You know, that's just how it is. Like, whoever you're with is supposed to basically be like your friend.
Besides you. Because
best
there's
friend?
still, like, guys have their guy best friends.
Of
so
course.
would you be okay? So how is that okay not a girl best friend?
I just think it's, like, kind of different. I just think
it
it's
is different. Here, let me tell you how I feel about it. So I'm okay with a guy having a girl best friend. The only thing is she better be my fucking best friend too. Ooh. Like, if you're his best friend, he's in a relationship with me. So you are basically in a relationship with me in a sense. And I don't mean that we're going to freaking go get pedicures together. Like, I don't mean that. But I mean, like, you're going to be respectful. Yeah. And you're going to respect me when you're in front of me. You're going to respect me behind closed doors. Like, when you guys are hanging out. Like, I never want to hear that, like, you're bad-mouthing me. Like, by all means, if I do some dumb shit, then, like, have your own opinion. Yeah. But, like, I never want to hear that you're bad-mouthing me or anything. And I feel like it would be really important to me to have a really good relationship with his girl best friend if that was the case.
Absolutely. But here's my question.
Okay.
What if you didn't know her? And what if, like, you know, what if, say, you guys were together for a little bit and he just happened to form a friendship with this girl and they became, like, very close. They became best friends. And you don't really know her. But
that's where it's his job at that point to have her get to know me and to have me get to know her. Because if all of a sudden he becomes, like, out of thin air, becomes best friends with a girl, best believe I'm going to be questioning it. Like, who the fuck is she? Like, you know, why aren't we going to lunch together? Like, I'm confused. Yeah. No, but I think, like, that's where I feel like whoever guy that you're dating at the time or whatever, it's his job to at least provide, like, situations for me to get to know her and her to get to know me. Yes. I feel like it's really shady when guys keep it separate. Like, oh no, I can't like introduce my girl best friend to my girlfriend because she's crazy or like because she'll get mad. Yes. So I feel like in that sense, the guys almost like are in control of whether or not the girlfriend's gonna act crazy. Goes. Exactly. So I feel like if he's super open, he's like, you know what? Like, I met this girl at school. She's super dope. Like I'm gonna invite her over. Let's hang out.
Absolutely.
I'll be like, okay. Like, I'll be a little weirded out. Like, I'm not even gonna front. But I'm pretty open to new people. So it's like, if I think that she's cool, then I can kind of create some sort of bond with her. And then I feel like even though her loyalties may lie with him, there will be also some loyalties to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be like, okay. You know what I mean?
I think that's also just like a little bit easier for you per se, because you're very open to meeting different people and getting to know people, and like you're really good at being social, whereas I have like more problems with that.
Yeah, you're definitely more standoffish, especially with women.
Yeah.
But I think it's also that goes into play with like a really toxic experience that you had. So I think like moving on or moving forward, I would say my cup of tea is, yes, I'm okay with it, but under certain circumstances. Like,
Okay.
I would need to know the girl. I would need my boyfriend to be very open with me with that relationship, just because it is different. Like, if I have a guy best friend, I'm going to be very open with him because, like, yeah, it can get fucking weird sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I think I would be okay with it. It's just communicating. Communication is such a big thing for me, and I think as long as there's that open door of communication, I'll be fine.
I totally respect everything you just said.
But
it's
still
like,
no.
personally for me, I'm still no. Like, it's okay for you to have girls
yeah.
who are friends. Absolutely. Great. Go for it. But a best friend, it's not my cup of tea.
Okay, that's fair. I respect that. I understand. So, with that, you're a little scarred from some toxicity that you've experienced.
It's a toxicity for me.
It's a toxicity for me. So let's talk about that. Like, what is a toxic friend?
I feel like a toxic friend is probably someone who is like, maybe, you know that saying, like, misery loves company? So I feel like if you're around a friend who's basically miserable with themselves, with their lives, with their circumstances, there's a difference between being there for them and trying to, like, be a good friend and, like, you know, help each other, like, you know, make their lives better, and then you just bringing them down with you. And in that case, I feel like that's, like, kind of like what I went through. Because it's, like, it's one thing if you got, like, a lot of shit going on and, like, that sucks. But it's, like, I'm here for you as a friend. But if you're just, like, gonna, you know, bring down all that, you know, frustration and anger you have inside you and take it out on me, like, I feel like that's toxic.
Yeah.
That's toxic.
I feel like with the experiences that I've had with toxic friendship, I have never dealt with a situation like what you've had, like, ever. For me, what's a red flag is friends who literally cannot go a day without having my undivided attention. I feel like that's really toxic because, like, I feel like I constantly have to prove to you that, like, we're friends, but it's like, we're friends.
Right.
There's nothing wrong. I got a lot of shit going on, and, like, I can't give you my undivided attention all of the time. And I feel like it's not even necessarily so toxic in the sense where I don't want to be their friend anymore. I think for me, I just have a very low tolerance for, like, or not low tolerance, but low patience for people that are, like, very needy and like that, because I don't really feel like that personally. Like, I feel like I'm not really like that. So I get very frustrated. And I feel like when I get frustrated like that, and then I go to talk to that, like, to those people about that, and then they get defensive because they're like, well, I'm just trying to make sure we're good,
or just
or
hurt
like, whatever.
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And I feel like that creates some toxicity just because it's like, for whatever reason, we can't be on the same page unless one of us is willing to compromise ourselves in order to accommodate for the other person. And then I feel like that kind of gives you, like, this teetering, like, you know, like, are we good friends? Are we fake friends? Like, what are we? You know?
And I feel like that kind of person, like, because there are some kind of friends who are just straight up just attached to the hip. There are those friends where it's you don't see them without their other friend with them when you go out anywhere. And I feel like that's probably not the kind of person you are, because you're very much busy with your jobs.
Yeah.
You're very much busy. Like, you like to have, like, your own, like, self-care time. And it's just, like, there's times where you just don't want to maybe hang out. And it's just, like, for those kind of people who kind of, like, need that constant, like, you know, let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that. And, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's just, like, how you are. That's the kind of friendship you need. But it's, like, you shouldn't be hurt if, like, the other person is, like, no.
Yeah. And I feel like even this past week, or was it last week? Even when you had talked to me a couple times, I was like, yeah, like, my conversations were just really short, but it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to talk to you or there was anything wrong. It was just like, I'm tired. I got a lot going on. I'm a little sad. Like, let me just give me a couple days. I'll come out of my little shell. I'll be fine. But no, yeah, I feel like for me that's I've never really experienced, I guess, a super toxic friendship, which I am definitely blessed for. But I think in that sense, that's a version of toxicity that I need to work on. And I need to work on it personally, and then I also need to work on it with those friends who are like that, you know?
Yeah.
But what's your story with a toxic ass friend?
So, like, my story is just like, okay, like, it was a long time ago, like, you know, we, like, I just, like, just to get this out of the way. Like, it's all been put to bed. We're cool. Like, there's, like, literally, I'm just going to tell the story. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's in the past.
It's in the past.
Okay.
So, anyways, getting that out of the way. Basically, like, me and this person were, like, really good friends for, like, a long time. And it was, like, one of those friendships where it's just, like, kind of, like, instant. Like, you know that love at first sight kind of thing? It was just, like, friendship at, like, first, like, meeting kind of thing. It was, like, really weird. Like, we just, like, always clicked, like, right away. So we were friends for, like, a really long time throughout, like, I think middle school, high school, and a little bit after high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, long time. And I don't know when it started going downhill. I couldn't tell you, like, specifically. But it's just, like, whenever this person just, like, started getting some drinks in them, it's just, like, a different personality came out. Like, it wasn't really, like, my friend anymore. It was just, like, they were super impatient and, like, very aggressive and just, like, very angry or, like, you know, just very impatient. Like, even if, like, someone showed them the slightest bit of, like, not even attitude, but just, like, like, even, like, maybe, obviously you're drunk, you're acting, like, a little crazy, you know, sometimes. So it's, like, yeah, people are going to look at you, like, okay, like, you know, look at that person. And it's, like, and, you know, my friend would be, like, what the fuck? Like, you know, it's just, like, yeah, I'm, like, wild. And it's just, like, at some point, it's just fucking toxic, you know? And it started getting to that point where it was just, like, whoa, like, you know? And it's just, like, the next morning, it's, like, oh, what happened? What I do.
Oh, she didn't remember.
No, absolutely no memory. And it's just like, it's kind of hard for me to relate to that because, like, when I get really fucked up, I always have, like, somewhat of a sense of what I'm saying, what I'm doing, who I'm with, and, like...
Yeah, you're very coherent drunk.
Yes.
Very coherent, which I'm grateful for because...
Yeah, so I'm, like, pretty damn coherent. So I just, like, whenever, like, the next morning came around, it's, like, blank, no memory of the night before. It just fucking flabbergasted me. Like, really? You don't remember that shit you fucking did? Like, and it's just, like, I feel like I always had to deal with, like, the repercussions of, like, whatever the fuck went down. So it's, like, if they threw that attitude or if they got aggressive or, like, you know. And there was even one time where, like, she, like, got crazy on, like, my other group of friends. And it's just, like, that's embarrassing for me. Like, that was the first time you met, like, you know, my other group of friends. Like, they probably, like, God knows what they're thinking. Like, I felt so bad because she was just acting, like, messy. Like, real messy. So, like, the point where it's just, like, they even hit me. Like, she hit me.
Oh, my God.
Like, straight up. And I was
That's,
literally...
like, the ultimate disrespect.
The ultimate disrespect. Just
so,
like,
was it then when you were, like, done? Or?
So, it was then where I was, like, it was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call. I was like, okay, it's one thing to where I'm, like, pretty annoyed and, like, over, like, their shit. But, like, bro, you hit me.
Yeah, that's completely different.
In the face.
In the face?
In the face.
Just know, Gabby, just know, if you ever hit me in the face, we're going bodies.
I would
like,
never hit
7th
you.
grade style.
7th grade style.
Like, we're going
in the girls'
fucking
restroom.
bodies. Like, we might get over it the next day, but, like, for sure we're throwing hands that night.
I would never hit you.
I would never hit you either. Like,
That's
unless
the
it was an
thing.
accident. Like, I was aiming for somebody else, but I was so drunk I accidentally hit you.
But it's just
other
like,
than that,
I would
like,
laugh and take it, then help you kick that girl's ass. Like,
thank you.
but
Just
like,
hold me up while I, like, kick her or something.
I would. Nah, I'll hold it down. We got a plan. Anyway, so it's just like, and like, she hit me in front of like my other friends.
Oh shit.
And it's just,
so it's embarrassing, yeah.
It's so embarrassing. Like, it's so embarrassing. And then, like, after that, like, that initial hit, first of all, I was so drunk that, like, I didn't even feel it.
Love that for you.
So that was
you
great.
bounced back.
Like, yeah, I bounced, like, literally, it was just like my head turned, and then, like, I looked at her, and I just started crying. Like, I didn't even get mad. I started crying.
It's, like, hurtful.
Yeah, literally, it wasn't crying from the pain of the hit. It was crying like, damn, like, my best friend really punched me in the fucking face right now. I was, like, in shock. And I just started crying, and then I hear yelling going on in the background. I'm not even fucking paying attention to what's, like, you know, being said at this point. I don't know. So one of my friends, after all that, like, got her home. Like, took the time to, like, get her home. Like, they could have threw her out in the fucking street and been like, fuck you, bye, but no. And it's just, like, it's cool because, like, I'm still friends with, like, those kind of friends till this day.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. But, yeah, after that, I was like, a wake-up call, okay. Like, sometimes a friendship history, like, at some point, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long you've been friends with someone. It doesn't matter how many good memories you have. Like,
no, it's like any
know?
type of relationship. Like, sometimes, like, it doesn't matter how much love you have for each other. It's not enough.
Yeah,
There's
it doesn't
just
matter.
too many bridges burned.
And it's just crazy because, like, we had to celebrate, like, her birthday, like, literally the next weekend. And it was, like, the first, I think, no, it wasn't the first time, but it was, like, one of the first times, like, we were going, like, to Vegas together. And then, like, we were, honestly, I was like, okay, like, you know, this trip, it's either make it or break it.
Yeah.
Like, I went with that mindset. If all goes well, you know, whatever, you made a mistake, as long as you don't do it again, apologize, like, cool. Like, we'll get past it. It got so much worse. Like, not hitting me wise, like, she didn't do that, but it's just, like, the things that, like, we ended up arguing about and, like, the words that were, like, communicated, like
said.
that, the shit that was said, it was just, like, not okay.
Yeah.
I was like, after that, I was just like, it needs, and it's just funny because once we got home, I was like, you know what? I didn't even say the friendship is over. I was like, I think I just need some space. That's all I said. And after that, that was just, like, enough for, like, her to be, like, triggered. And then, like, she decided to lay some more harsh words on me after that. And I was like, wow. And it kind of almost, like, makes you think, like, were you ever really, like, my friend if you're willing to, like, say so many hurtful things to me? Like, were you ever really? And that's kind of, like, I was like, wow, like, were you thinking this, like, the whole time? Because by all means, like, when you're best friends with someone, like, of course there's going to be qualities or things they say that you're just, doesn't rub you the right way.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
But the thing is, like, I feel like, even if there's something, like, for instance, me and Gabby went to Target today, and we were illegally trying stuff on. And it's like we can be like, okay, that doesn't really look that good on you. Like, you know, don't buy that. It doesn't make your figure look good. It doesn't fit, like, your body or, like, whatever. Like, you know? And, or, like, even if it's, like, if for whatever reason, like, I say something to Gabby or she says something to me, we can be really respectful about, like, hey, I don't like that you said that. I mean, maybe not in that moment, but we could come back the next day or, you know, a few minutes later and be like, okay, what's up? Like, what happened?
It kind of bothered me that, like, you know?
And we can have a civilized conversation about it. And I feel like as friends, like, you should be able to have those open-ended conversations about stuff like that, or even, like, give some constructive criticism or just, like, a little criticism at all. And it should be okay. I think it's just the way that it's said. And the fact that she said it to hurt you, like, it wasn't to be constructive. It wasn't to help you out. It was to hurt you.
Yes.
It was to hurt your feelings, to hurt your heart a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And that's when I knew I was just like, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely 100% done. And it sucks that that's how, like, all those years of, like, friendship and good memories and, like, you know, as great as it was, because it was, like, my best friend. So it was just, like, sad to see it go. And then kind of, like, after I lost her, some of the other friends I had, like, kind of quickly, like, shifted too. So I was just like, damn, like, you know, this what's going down.
Like, the people you surrounded yourself with.
Yeah, it's just the people surrounded myself with at the time. I guess it was just, like, not it. And it's just, like, and those other people, I'm not even, like, trying to say anything bad about them or, like, you know, nothing like that, because it's not like we were, like, super duper close either. But it's just, like, you know, kind of we were talking about those acquaintances, like, you're friends with because you're friends with that person. Mm-hmm. So it's, like, obviously, like, you don't have me no loyalty. So it's just, like, they kind of, like, followed that person. And it's just, like, that's fine. So it was, like, a really, really rough time. Like, when we were talking about, like, our quarter life crisis episode, like, when, like, my car was totaled and, like, you know, my shit was hacked, like, I also lost friends. Like, that's when I lost this friend, too. So it was just, a lot. It was so much. much. It was so much. So I was very depressed. And it's crazy because I don't even think they know, like, how sad I was. They probably think, like, I was probably like, fuck you, like, blah, blah. Because by all means, I did blog her on everything.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I already know she's, like, probably going to call me and text me, like,
yeah,
you know, tell me off.
You just don't want to deal with
you
that.
know, like, whatever. And she did end up texting me, like, telling me off. And I was just like, why? And after that, I was like, okay, I'm blocking her ass. So, but yeah, I was, like, very, very sad about it for a long time. But, like, you know, we all moved on. It was, like, a big, like, learning lesson. And, like you kind of said, it's just, like, from that experience, I'm, like, a little, like, very weary of, like, who I decide to, like, be friends with now.
You know what's crazy? I think, like, just to bring it to our friendship really quick, it's funny because, so when I got hired at Chip, you were already there. Mm-hmm. And when I came in, I already knew some people that worked there. So I knew Ashley, and then I knew Daisy, which was crazy because at the time that was one, well, not that she's not now, but, like, that's one of your really good friends. And at the time for me, I used to be really good childhood friends with her, but I hadn't talked to her, like, all of high school, and this was, like, the first time we had kind of kindled any type of friendship since then. And it was kind of funny because I had watched you interact with, like, new hires and, like, specifically females. And, like, you were harsh. Like, it wasn't, like, necessarily that you were rude to them. It was more so it took a lot of time for you to warm up to them. And it was harsh. Like, I witnessed it.
I hate that about myself. I've been working on it.
No, you have. You have. You for sure have grown a lot and gotten a lot better when it comes to, like, that. But it was just funny because I feel like because I was friends with people that you were cool with, you didn't really feel the need to, like, be that way with me. But we didn't exactly, like, hit it off right away either.
No, we
like,
didn't.
It was so weird. I don't even know, honestly, like, at what point we started to, like, even converse.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you either.
Because I vividly remember us being on, like, the same shifts, not saying a damn word to each other.
No.
Not saying
nothing
a word.
at all. I think because, like, and also you were, like, mutual friends with, like, Nathan.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So I was like, and then, like, with Daisy, so I was like, oh, these are, like, people, like, you know, Nathan, Daisy, I was, like, very close and very cool with them. So in a way, that's, like, you kind of unlocked, like, the first level already. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, she must be cool. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. It's the Remy for me. I got the hiccups.
Oh. Are you getting emotional talking about me?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, bitch. I'm not that drunk.
She said no. Fuck
you. But yeah, I was just like, okay, like, whatever. She must be cool. And then, like, whenever, like, outside of Chipotle, we would, like, all hang out and, like, you know, have kickbacks, do whatever. And, like, Alexis would be there. I'm like, oh, like, she's here too. Like, cool. Like, and I couldn't tell you when me and Alexis started hanging out. Like, I don't remember the first time we hung out one-on-one.
Yeah, no. I remember that, like, we started talking more and we started becoming cool. And then, like, I vividly remember. Actually, you know what? Actually, I can't even say vividly because most of the night was blackout. But I can't even say that. Well, Halloween, I don't even remember what year it was, if it was 2017 or 2018, whatever. But I know that, like, now I may seem like an alcoholic, but, like, I used to, like, not drink at all. Mainly because I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
So I had a super, super low tolerance for alcohol. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was at this Halloween party for no less. No, actually, I shouldn't say less. No more than 2 hours.
Oh, God.
No more than 2
no
hours.
More than 2.
And I was fucked up, off of my mind. Like, I couldn't walk up the stairs. I couldn't walk down the stairs. I had to pee and throw up at the same time. I, like, was such a mess. It was disturbing. Like, it was disturbing. But you know what? Like, Gabby, and me and her are cool at this point, but we weren't, like, super cool.
Not at all.
And out of everyone there, like, because, well, I mean, everybody was having a good time. Everyone was drinking. But out of everyone there.
It was a fucking rager.
It was a rager.
Holy
for sure.
Shit. Yeah.
But out of everyone there, like, Gabby took care of me. God bless her fucking heart. Gabby and then my ex at the time. But God bless your fucking heart. Because I think, like, after that, that's where, like, I kind of gained, like, respect for you. Mm-hmm. And then I think, like, I don't know, I was being fucking funny and stupid and drunk. And that's when I feel like because I was, like, that way, I was a little, like, vulnerable too. And then you kind of saw that. And so you...
Oh, like, you were vulnerable, all right.
Yeah, so we became, like, really good friends after that. And then we started hanging out, like, going to lunches and stuff like that. And then, like, you started coming over.
Yes.
And then Yeah, I feel like that was like, I feel like for
That was the
sure
kickoff.
that was the kickoff. Yeah.
That was the kickoff.
But I don't even remember the first time we actually hung out like one-on-one.
No, neither do I.
Yeah. Crazy.
It was crazy. Alexis, that's the most drunk till this day I've ever seen her.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It was bad.
I
You know
remember.
what? And we've had some crazy nights here.
We have.
And not once have I thrown up.
No.
Not once.
Not once. You saw me for the first time barely the other day.
That was wild. I was shook.
Yeah.
I was goddamn mind blown. I was so drunk and I was like, Gabby, I got your hair. Don't worry.
The other week, you guys, I couldn't even tell you what happened.
I don't even know.
I was drinking some Mike's Harder lemonade, and it's harder.
Crown.
It's harder for sure.
It's
and
harder.
then
and Crown though, you gotta give yourself one.
And I was drinking. I took a cool amount of shots of Crown Royal.
Mm-hmm.
Why that combination happened, I couldn't tell you.
Don't know.
And like we had like some of Alexis's coworkers over. And one of them, she's like a little more shy, like more to herself. Shout out to Polly. And she was like, she was like, oh, Polly. She was just like ready to get lit. And I was like, oh my God, like finally. 'Cause she's usually like always driving. She's always just like, to herself. And I was like, I'm trying to get this bitch fucked up. And she got me fucked up. And I ended up sleeping on the bathroom floor for a cool minute.
Yeah.
Great.
And it was funny because like everybody had left. I had just got done walking them out. And I come upstairs and I hear like Gabby kind of like whimpering. Like it was like a soft little like whimper like oh God. And I was like, what the hell? And I was so drunk. Like I was like stumbling up the stairs and I go in and like I could just tell that like Gabby's gonna throw up if she hadn't already, which I think you already had.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then you kind of like leaned over and you're like, I gotta throw up. And I was like, okay. So I went and I like grabbed, like literally like put my hands around the frame of her face and just pulled back like her hair. And I was like, it's okay, Gabs. I got your hair. It's fine. And then I was just like rubbing her back. I was like, let it out. It's cool. It's cool.
Oh, I let it out.
And I was so drunk. And then the funniest part, do you remember walking to your bed?
No.
Oh my God, Gabriella, we almost fell
remember.
like 4 times. It was so fucking funny.
Really?
Yes. And mind you, okay,
You
Gabby's,
never told me this.
Dude, Gabby's bed to her bathroom is not even like 10 feet.
It's not even 5 feet. It's maybe 5 feet.
I would say it's maybe 5 feet. And it was so funny because like, okay, so you were like, okay, I want to go lay down. And I was like, are you done? Like, are you sure? And you're like, yeah, I'm done. I was like, okay. Gabby's like super coherent. So like when she said she's done, I believe her. So I was like, okay. So then I like grab all your hair again. I was like, hold on. So I redo her hair in like a half-ass bun. I don't even know if it was a bun. Like I wasn't even seeing shit. I was like, you know what? It's out of your face. That's all that matters. And then I was like, okay, come on. And then so she stands up, and then immediately like you go to stand up and you fall over. And I was like, it's fine. Like come on, like stand up. And then,
oh my God.
like when like you're just like limp,
like a puppet.
You're just like yes. That's how you were. And mind you, like I said, I was stumbling up the stairs, like just trying to get to you. And so like I was like, okay, like Gabby, like just hold on to the wall, put your arm around me, and like come on, we're gonna walk.
I don't remember this whole scenario.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Oh my God, it was so fucking funny. I remember going to my room and literally laughing to myself like a psychopath. Like but like I grabbed your arm and I was like, come on, like let's go to your bed. Like it's right there. Sunny's fucking watching us, like two dumbass bitches. Sunny's
my cat.
Yeah, Sunny's the cat, and she's literally just standing there staring at us like these bitches. Like they're stupid as fuck. And then it was funny because she was sitting like right at like the foot of your bed, like almost like right where your dresser is, right where the foot of your bed is. So it's super close to like where we were in proximity. And so I'm like holding onto your arm, and then you like step out, and I was like, we weren't ready to move yet. Like, we were not stable enough to, like, start going. And you step out and just, like, fall to your knee. And I was like, whoa, like, come on, like, Gabby, you got this. And then it scared Sunny, so Sunny ran. She ran to her corner, wherever it was. And I was like, it's fine, like, come on, like, get up, like, come on. So I, like, literally put my other hand, like, underneath your armpit. And I'm just like, come on. So I'm trying to, like, lift you. And I'm, like, sweating? All the way, like, sideways.
I kind of want to know. Was I sweating?
I was too drunk to even, like, get you up. I have no fucking idea. And then, so, like, I get you up. And then I'm like, okay, come on. Like, let's walk. And I was like, but slow. And then you're like, okay. And then you just, like, start walking. And we're going. And we got a good momentum going. And we're, like, this close to getting you in bed. And then all of a sudden, like, I think it was me. That's the craziest part. I think it was me because I was, like, not, like, all the way good yet. I like, stumbled a little.
Oh, my God.
And then you stumbled a lot. And then I was like, oh, God. And then I caught myself on your bed. And then, like, when I caught myself, I kind of, like, caught you. And then I just, like, threw you around me. And then I was like, okay, this is your bed. Like, get in bed. And you got yourself up. You got yourself into the bed. But then, like, you were on top of your quilt, and I was trying to pull the quilt so that way I could put it on top of you. And I was just like, oh, my gosh, like, this is exerting all of my energy. Like, oh, my God. So I pull the quilt, I put it on top of you, and I get your trash, and I put it next to your bed. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm going to go to my room, but call me if you need me. And you were like, okay. And then I was like, okay. And then I just go to my room. I stumble to my room, and I just, like, I lay down. And I just started laughing. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, like, my God.
What just happened?
I don't remember that whole thing, but
That's
literally,
so
I will
funny.
only get that bad in my own home.
Yes.
Like, I will not, like, get that bad anywhere else because I don't trust the people around me. Like,
yeah.
I want complete, full access to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like...
That's so funny. It was just so funny because, like, yeah, I've never seen you like that. It was hilarious.
It was great. It was a great time.
I'm so dead.
So, I think we should move on. So, enough of the toxicity.
Toxicity is a no-go.
It's a no-go. Let's talk about the real friends.
Yes.
Period.
You've seen it.
Oh, my God.
So, I don't know if, like, we mentioned this before. I think we did. We do kind of, like, bullet points of, like, what topics we're going to hit, like, when we're doing an episode. And it doesn't have, like, anything really written out, but it's just, like, literally bullet points. So it's, like, fake friends, toxic friends, real friends. Mm-hmm. But next to real friends, I put us, period.
Period.
Oh, yeah, I can't forget the T. Which is just, like, annoying of me. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. Honestly, after that whole thing happened with, like, my old friends and kind of, like, losing everyone, I was still working at, like, Chipotle all the time. And that's where I met all the friends that I still have around till this day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it took me a while to actually, like, because it's so sad because everyone was always so nice. Like, they always invited me places, like, would, like, literally just, like, text me all the time. And I was, like, kind of, like,
suspicious.
Okay. I was so suspicious. Like, you know how a dog is, like, is in, like, an abusive home?
Yeah.
And then they actually are with, like, their real family, and they're still, like, like, they still got, like, all this anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally how I was. I was just, like, I don't believe it. Like, are they actually this nice? Like, I didn't know. And, like, eventually it's just, like, the friendship was, like, so consistent. Like, they were, like, continuing to be, like, just good people. And I was like, wow. I was like, these are actually, like, good friends.
Yeah.
Like, real people. And it was, like, it's so great. And it's, like, obviously, like, we're still so busy, like, now. But it's, like, when we make time for each other, it's, like, and we do see each other, it's, like, oh, my God, it's, like, great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, so for me, right out of high school, I got into a long-term relationship. And when I was in that relationship, so I would say I had a lot of friends. I would say not fake friends. Well, yeah, my definition of fake friends, I guess. In high school, I had very few really close friends. But when I got with this guy after high school, and I also got extremely busy. It wasn't even like I cut them off to be with him because for like a cool year or two after high school, we were together. We were hanging out with our friends like every single day. But once I got like 2 jobs and I started working a lot, like my priorities shifted. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I didn't make any time really for like friends. It was like on my spare time, I would either be with him or I would be with family.
Yeah. It
wasn't like there was no really in between because I really had no free time. But I had one really, really, well, not one, I would say 3 really, really good friends, when I graduated. One of them, moved out of state actually. And so I actually hardly get to see her or really talk to her. I mean, I talk to her like once in a blue moon, like, rarely, but like when we do talk, it's like as if like
no time is
yeah,
by.
exactly.
Ugh, I love
so it's really nice. Like actually this past year I went to Arizona to visit her for the first time. She's lived out there for like 5 years now. It's the first time I've ever gone to visit her, which is like really shitty of me, honestly, but I had a great time. Like we had such a blast. And there's a lot of things that like we live our lives very differently, and like we view certain things very differently. And she lives in a whole ass other state, but like at the same time we could kind of set aside our differences and set aside like some time to still like be there for each other. And like even when the whole like when we posted the breakup episode, she hit me up and she's like, hey, like how are you doing, like, you know, like are you okay, like what's going on? And we kind of caught up a little bit. So like it's kind of cool that if they're like a real true friend, it doesn't matter about distance or even time passing. Like if you're able to pick up where you left off, even if a year's passed, that's like a real friend.
Yes, I completely agree. I had this very, very, very good friend in 6th grade, and like, oh my God, I was at her house all the time. Like, she introduced me to like mangas, and we would just like, you know, we were just like told, and like we all read. It was like during the Twilight era. Like we were both obsessed with the Twilight. Like we were just like, oh, we were like best friends. And like she'd invite me to all like her family parties. Like we were always hanging out. Like she was like my best friend. And then I guess like her dad got a different job, and like she moved to Texas, and I was so freaking sad. And like, you know, we were so close, but then she moved. And, like, we eventually, like, followed each other on social media. Oh. And, like, till this day, like, she'll post something, and I'm like, oh, my God, like, you know, so pretty, or just, like, well, like, it's, like, little comments here and there, like, you know, like, a message, and it's, like, the fact that, like, you know, it's so easy to let distance and time or whatever, like, just end a friendship.
Yeah.
Because you could easily just be like, it was great, but, you know, whatever, like, you don't want to put your time to that. But the fact that there's still, like, that something that keeps you, like, gravitating towards that person, it's, like, that's, like, a real friend. Even if, you know, you may not talk the most, if you could, like, just pick up from, like, where you last were.
Exactly. And I think that's where, like, Kayla, that's her name, Kayla Martinez, shout out. She's one of my best friends for sure. Like, someone I would legit have in my wedding type of best friend. And then I have, you know, Maitha, who we were hanging out with damn near every day of quarantine. She's one of my best friends, and like she's kind of one that like we've been through a lot in our friendship. She's done stuff, I've done stuff that like honestly put us both in situations where we've mistrusted each other. But the fact of the matter is we're always able to bounce back. And I don't even want to say always, because it's only happened once, like, where I've fucked up in a sense, and it's only happened once where she's fucked up in a sense. So it's not like we always are, like, fighting or anything like that. It's just, like, we've been through situations that I haven't been through.
I've definitely tested the waters.
Yeah, exactly, with, like, other friends. And we're still able to call each other friends. And I, like, respect the hell out of her, and, like, yeah, like, we're very different, me and her. Like, even the way we handle things, the type of people that we are, we're very different. But even then, like, at the end of it, like, we can still, in some way, see eye to eye. And, like, work past whatever, like, is happening. And I think that's really cool, because then you have, like, friends like that where, you know, you do have to work a little bit harder in the friendship in the sense of, like, maintaining it. But if it's precious to you and if it's worth it, then, like, that's something that you're kind of willing to do. And I think that we both sometimes get to a point where, like, we're just like, oh, my God, like, you're being a dick, or, like, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But, you know, we always come back and we're always, like, stronger and better than ever. And I think that's, like,
what matters.
Yeah, what matters, exactly.
So, on to things that kind of make things a little harder in a friendship. I want to talk about those girls who are kind of all about their boyfriends. Okay. And make it really hard to, like, hang out or do whatever as normal friends do, because they're always with their mans. What are your thoughts?
I think that, I feel like that's a hard topic, because I feel like I was kind of viewed like that for a minute, because I was always, like I said, like, in any spare time I had, I was with Bucky. And, but it wasn't necessarily because, like, I didn't want to hang out with anyone else. It was just, I had let's say, one day out of the week where I had my full day available. And even though, like, yeah, I got to see him for an hour here, an hour there, like, the other days, it's like I have one day to spend the day with him.
Yeah.
You know? So it wasn't like I wanted to neglect my other friends. It was just like, you know, like, if I'm going to do something.
Sense that you're the guy that you're, or girl, whatever, that you're in a relationship with, like, they kind of have a little bit of a priority.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
They do. And also, though, like, I think that the guy should put in some effort to get to know some of your friends. I feel that, like, it was a little easy because I feel that I was really cool with a lot of his friends before we ever even got together.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of discussed that in the breakup episode. Like, I was really good friends with a lot of them, and then throughout our relationship, for the ones that I didn't know before, I became, like, really cool with. But I feel like there was little to no effort put in for him to meet my friends. Mm-hmm. Like when I would invite him to functions with chip people, how many times did he come with me?
Yeah, you count on one hand.
You can literally count on one hand how many times he showed up. And it, like, that was something that was really frustrating to me. But I feel like if you're in a relationship, it should be 50-50. If you're willing to deal with his friends, I wouldn't even say deal with, because, like, that's like fucked up. But it's like, if you're willing to, like, hang out with his friends often, which I was. They were over almost every single day. Yeah. I got to see them every single day, even on days where I didn't want to fucking see them. But, like, he couldn't even set aside 2 times out of the fucking month to hang out with people that I wanted to hang out with. Yeah, it was a little fucking frustrating. Yeah. So I feel like in that sense, I should have kind of seen the red flags a little bit sooner. Mm-hmm. But I definitely feel like if people have a bunch of free time, but they're specifically only spending it with one person, and it's that person, like, prioritize a little better. Yes. Be better. Yes. Like, I should have prioritized better, you know? Like, even if I would have been like, okay, I'm going to spend one day out of the month with this friend or with these friends or whatever the case may have been. I should have prioritized my time better, because then I feel like I became, dependent in that sense on him, on, like, make time on that day. And if you ruin that day, like, or, like, not ruin it, but if you don't have the time that day, like, yeah, I'm gonna be pissed off because I could have spent it with my friends, like, you know. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of also what was, like, a stressor in our relationship. So I think there's just, like, a lot that kind of can play into it. But I definitely think the girls that just straight up ditch their friends for a guy, it's like, don't do that. Ugh, like, that's like only gonna fuck you over in the end, because unless you guys, like, get married and live happily ever after, the reality of it is, if you guys break up, who's gonna be there for you to, like, for you to cry on their shoulder? Yes. Like, you know?
And I think I've been on, like, the other end of that, like, at some point. Like, I even told you, like, you know, there has been, like, a time where I was that girl who was just like, oh, like, I needed, like, you know, I was just spending all my time, like, with that guy. And then my friends literally sat me down and was like, hey, like, this is, like, we're telling you right now, like, you don't make time for us, you don't try hanging out with us, like, you're literally all about him. And that's when I was a little younger, so maybe, like, 16, 17, whatever. But after that, I was, like, heard. Like, okay, yeah. Like, I completely understand. And I worked on it a lot after that.
I feel like you're super aware of it, because even, like, now that you're, like, seeing someone, you still are like, okay, like, what day are we gonna do something, so that way I can tell him, like, I'm busy that day. So I definitely appreciate that, because, like, yeah, it would get super annoying if, like, we were supposed to be single girls for, like, a while together, and
we
right
were
away
supposed to. That was the plan.
That was the plan. And right away, you just, like, fell in love or something.
I guess. Cupid was like, boom.
No, but, yeah, it's, like, super dope for you. And I just appreciate the fact that you still put in the effort, you know? Yeah. Even though, like, you are preoccupied and you're happy with, you know, what's going on. So, yeah, that's a big deal.
I know, because I've just learned, like, now, like, that I have, like, such really great friends in my life. It's like, there's no way in hell that I'm just gonna let that, like, go to waste. Yeah. So it's like, I do, like, try and make it a point. And that's why I even got the inspiration for this episode, because I was like, damn, like, you know, like, where the hell are they? Like, yeah. Like, you know, because so, like, my friendships, like, do mean a lot to me. So, like, even if, like, a guy is in my life, like, yeah, like, my time is going to be, like, cut a little more, but I'm definitely going to, like, make it a point to be like, okay, like, you've hung out with him so many days, like, what's going on with your girls? So.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to set aside time for friends. And I think that's another thing too. I have one friend where he is busy as fuck. He is a nurse. His wife just like graduated nursing school. They have 3 kids. Like, and mind you, he's my age. And he is so happy, so successful. He lives further too than like, not out of state, but just further, like far enough to be inconvenient, basically. Yeah. And I don't really see him as often. He's actually the same friend that had picked me up and carried me across the quad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's Adrian. We used to call each other brother and sister because we were so close. Like, I have so many stories of him literally saving my ass so many times. And it's just like, we had like this telepathic like friendship where like, he could almost like sense when I was just like not okay. Like, he literally, I remember this one time, he literally showed up to my house and I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? You know, and my dad was like crazy. So like for him to show up, yeah. But my dad actually knew Adrian and he was always like super cool with him. Like, you know, he knew that Adrian was just like a really good friend to me.
Yeah.
And so Adrian showed up to my house and I was like, why are you here? And I was like crying. And like, he was like, I don't know. I just like had a feeling like something was up. And I was like, you're fucking weird. Like, you're weird for that. But he showed up and like, he was there for me. And then like, there would be times too when I would call him and I'd be like, hey, I just got like the feeling that I needed to call you. Like, you know, and he'd be like, dude, like this and this happened today.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's super weird. We've always kind of been like that. And it's actually so funny because I will go literally months and months and months without talking to him. Mainly because he's so busy and I'm pretty busy myself. And actually me and Bucky had went to go visit him not that long before we had broken up. And I think, like, I don't really know how other people interpreted our breakup, but I think it came to, like, as a shock to our friends. Because we were super private about, like, that kind of stuff. And I think, honestly, it even came as a shock to us, because I think we were kind of in denial about it for a while. But anyways, so we broke up, and I hadn't talked to Adrian in literally months. And he calls me the day after we broke up. He calls me. And I was like, what? Like, literally, that's how I answered the phone.
Rude.
I was like, what?
So fucking rude.
And he was like, but my assumption was that he had just got done talking.
Like,
and
he
like,
found out.
Yeah, and he was like, just trying to see how I was doing. And I wasn't trying to talk about it. Like, I was on my way to work. Like, I wasn't trying to talk about it. And I was like, what? And he was like, ew, dude, like, I'm just calling to see, like, what's up? And I was like, oh, like, why? Like, and he's like, I don't know, I just got a feeling that I needed to call you. Like, are you good? And I was like, wait, so you haven't, like, talked to Becky? And he was like, no, like, why? And I was like, oh, well, we broke up. And he was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? And he kind of thought, like, I was kidding at first.
Yeah.
And then, like, he heard it in my voice that, like, oh, like, you know that, like, cracking that happened when we were in the episode?
It's like,
that's
listen
what
to
happened.
the breakup episode.
Literally, that's what happened. And, like, my voice kind of, like, cracked. And then I kind of just, like, I broke down, like, and I started crying to him. And I was just like, dude, like, we broke up, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's just so weird because it's like that. Like, when I'm going through something, like, he calls. And even, like, this past week, he called.
Yeah.
And I was, like, really going through it. And I was just like, dude, like, are you a witch? Like, I'm confused. Like, I'm so confused. But he's always really, like, been there for me. And I think that's just proof that, like, girls and guys can be best friends. Because
that's why, from your experience, that's why you're on the side more of, like, yes, they can be.
Yeah,
I've never had that guy friend like that.
No, yeah, he is one of my best friends, and he's married. He has a wife, and I love his wife. I love her. I probably talk to her sometimes more than I talk to him, like, honestly, about, like, stuff. And I think it's, like, super cool because through him, I met her, and she's also, I consider her one of my really good friends. Yeah. So it's really cool. And I think that's where it goes, though. Like, I had to put in some effort to also be her friend. Yeah. So that, to make sure that she was comfortable with, like, us being good friends. Like, you know, like, yeah, it's intimidating. Like, going into a relationship with your boyfriend already having a girl best friend. Like, that's fucking weird. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I made it a point to like talk to her, and like, I mean, at the time I was in a relationship, so there was not even like any really like worry, I don't think, that like that was even a situation. But it was just like, I definitely felt that like it's necessary to put in the effort to be her friend, because she's not going anywhere.
No.
And clearly they got married, like, you know, and like now, like, I had fucking family dinner with them and their kids. Like, it was amazing, you know? So it's super dope. And then, like, you know, even with Irene, like, she's one of my really good friends, and I see her never. Never. And, like, same thing.
I really gotta pee.
Okay.
Like, real fucking bad.
Okay.
The Remy, though.
Yeah, the Remy.
To be continued.
Okay, we're back, and honestly, I don't remember what I was talking about.
You were talking about, how even if you don't see friends for like a cool amount of time, you could like, you know, talk to them, and it's like as if like no time has passed. So you mentioned Irene.
Oh yeah. So I will literally go so long without talking to her, and it's like the best when we like. Oh my god, I burped. I'm sorry. When we like do talk, because we'll catch up. Basically, like one day we'll go to lunch or whatever and catch up for like a whole year, and then we'll hang out for like a cool week or two like afterwards, and then it'll kind of be like we go our separate ways in the sense of like we're just both really busy people. And that's it, like, you know, but I still do consider her one of my really good friends, and like obviously, you know, you're my best friend, so that speaks for itself. And I think that even though we really haven't been friends for a long time, like, if you think about it, maybe, what, like 2 years?
Yeah.
3 years? Not a long time. But it's, like, crazy because I feel like I've known you for, like, a lifetime.
Yes.
It's so fucking weird. But I think that just goes, like, to show that as long as you're really open to meeting, like, people, you'll gain some friends.
Or, like, see those qualities in a person and just, like, give it a chance. Like,
because I think what's so weird is that, like, you and I are so different. We're so different. Like, almost, like, with some things, like, night and day.
Yeah.
But then with our, like, I don't know, our personalities and, like, kind of important things, like, we're, like, the same person.
The things that matter.
Yeah.
Like, we could be kind of different in the sense of, like, the kind of guys we like, especially that.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Or, like, you know, maybe, like, our taste in, like, you know, different kinds of entertainment. I don't know, just like things,
decorating,
or like decorating style. Like, our rooms look so different. Like, her room's literally white, mine is literally black. Like, you know, like black and white,
like yin and yang.
Yin and yang. But it's just like you kind of need a one with the other type of thing. Like,
it's so weird. But it's like, even though I think out of all of my friendships, I've known you for the least amount of time. Like, I also spend every single day with you, and I feel super close to you in that sense, and it's just, like, it's just so crazy. Like, I consider you, like, family, honestly. It's not even, like, we're, like, best friends. It's, like, you're, like, a sister to me, like, you know, and it's so weird. It's just, like, not that, but it's just, like, weird how, like, fast you can develop, like, a friendship, I guess.
Absolutely. Like, a couple years ago, like, when, like, not a couple years, like a year or whatever ago, like when I was with my ex, like we would just always laugh because at the time, like I didn't really have any friends, and he'd always be like, he'd be like, oh, like what are you gonna do today? Like, gonna hang out with the guys? And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just like going home, and like we just kind of like laugh about it.
What a dick.
Yeah, he's
fucking happy fiend.
Fuck you, Nick. Fuck you, Nick Miller. Anyways, so whatever, it was just like funny because like, you know, it is what it is. But it's just like, and then we talk about like how he has like so many friends and like so many cousins, and it's like how many groomsmen, like,
it's
you
so
know?
crazy. Now that we're talking about that, it is so different for guys.
So different.
So different. They will literally become butt buddies in second grade, and all of a sudden they're friends for life.
They'll be friends for the rest of their lives till the day they fucking die. I don't get it.
I think honestly though, what it is I think it takes so fucking long for boys to mature that like from second grade till they're like 25, they're literally still acting like they're in second grade. So of course they're still in the same mindset of that's my best friend since second grade, because low-key mentally they're still in second grade.
Yeah.
But I think like
once they hit, like, they're developing their families, they're like,
they get a girl,
yeah, they have a
girlfriend.
wife, then I think that's when they see their circle get smaller.
Yes.
That's what I noticed. I noticed that, like, even with, like, Adrian, like, he was one of the main people in, like, my ex's group, like, you know, and now I can't even say that, like, they would even consider to invite him to certain functions. And it's just, like, it's so sad because it's just, like, just because his priorities aren't getting fucked up every single day, or, like, you know, he just has a family.
He doesn't want to get drunk every other day.
Exactly. But, yeah. It's, like, just because he has, like, more priorities and bigger priorities, it's, like, they don't have the time of day for him. You know what I mean? And it's just, like, crazy. Mm-hmm. But I've definitely witnessed that. Even, like, with, like, my own dad, you know, and seeing, like, his friends. Like, they were friends for years, and, like, as they got older, the circle got smaller and smaller and smaller because certain people are maturing faster than others, and, like...
Yeah. And you know what else it is with guys that their friendships last longer? When shit bothers them, they fucking say it.
Yeah.
Like, whenever something's going down, there's a problem, they literally talk about it right then and there. And after they talk about it, that's it. There's no remorse. There's no, I'm going to remember this. And, like, be weird with you forever after that. Whereas girls, Jesus. It's
you know what's
it's
crazy?
a fucking goddamn mind game.
I feel like in that sense, I have a very, like, guy mindset. Like, even, like, when me and one of our friends got into it, like, not too long ago, like, I let it go. And I was like, okay, like, you know?
Yeah.
But I think, like, in that sense, I have, like, kind of a guy mindset. But also in that sense, that's how I've lost some friends. Because they can't handle the fact that, like, sometimes, like...
You're confrontational.
Yes. And it's, like, I have literally had times where, like, someone's, like, genuinely annoying the shit out of me. And I'm like, dude, like, shut up. You're so annoying. Like, please, like, just chill out, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, like... A lot of the times, like, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of the times females can't handle that.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, like, what affects, you know, friendships is just the fact that, like, I do, like, and I can recognize, like, and I try to put myself in check with my approach, but it doesn't always happen, you know? And it's, like, even with you, like, we've had times where, like, I'll say something and you give me a look and I'm like, okay, like, I need to shut up. You know? But it's, like, even then, it's, like, afterwards, like, you'll be, like, okay, like, why did you say that? Or, like, why did you look at me like that? Or, like, you know, like, whatever. But I feel like a lot of the times, yeah, like, women don't talk about it. And they let it build up and build up and build up. And it's, like, until they reach a point to no return and they explode. Yeah. And when they explode, the other person's just standing there, like, I didn't even know that you felt that way.
Yeah.
Like,
either that or it's just there's, like, kind of, like, that mutual understanding of, like, okay, now we're kind of annoyed with each other. Yeah. And it lasts for fucking ever. Where it's like, guys, like, maybe they'll just bring out the fucking gloves and hash it out for a second and be like, oh, we cool, man? Cool, we cool. Like, I wish there were more female friends where I'm like, you know what? Let's just fight for a minute and then just love each other after. But that's not the way of the world. Like, that's not how it works. And I think that's just, like, what makes our friendship work, too. It's like, we might not maybe talk about it right away, but it's just, like, I'm kind of patient where it's just, like, maybe you're approaching and, like, rub me the right way. And I'll be like, okay. And then, whatever, we'll go on with the rest of our day. But then once we're like, you know, the day goes on, I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah. Or even,
like vice versa.
Even when I know, like maybe, you know, you said something that rubbed me the wrong way or whatever. It's like, we, for the most part, I feel like we don't let days pass. Like, we'll fix it that night unless it's, like, really, like, we're really heated. Or, like, we're under the influence. And then, like, then it's just like, okay, there's no point in talking about it. So, like, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But there's never been a time where I think, like, we've ever been, like, disrespectful. It's just been, like, you're annoying me. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, yeah. But I don't think there's ever been a time where, like, you've gotten disrespectful with me or I've gotten disrespectful with you. And I think that's a big thing, too. I think there's a way to, like, say things and do things that's not disrespectful. And there's a difference between being blunt and confrontational to being, like, disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I feel like the approach sometimes can come off aggressive, but it's not necessarily disrespectful unless, like, you say or do something to either hurt that person or you say or do it in front of other people. Then it could be, like, disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I think, like, it's just all about timing and, like, approach. But and words, like the actual words that come out of your fucking mouth, because words can be way more hurtful than punches. And maybe that's another thing. It's like women go for the fucking throat.
Yes.
We go for the throat. Like, if you come for me, I will come for you 10 times harder with my words than I ever would with my fists.
Because it's just like because that's just like how girls are, and especially if you're like very good friends with them, like they know all your insecurities, like they know everything about you, like they know all those intimate details, like you confide in them, you talk to them about whatever, so it's just like you're kind of opening yourself up to that possibility of them like just being a bitch, like
yeah, it's wild. It's just wild.
But, and that's why I'm picky as fuck with who I decide to talk to and open up to, because it's like I don't ever like want to feel that way again. And it's just like, by all means, it's like I definitely haven't always been the perfect friend. Like, I've made so many mistakes, and like I try and learn from them and I try and be better for sure, but it's like it's just like, let me find someone who's worthy of me, like, making sure I'm, like, a good friend. Because if I know you're already kind of annoying me off the bat, our personalities don't match, I'm not going to try and be your girlfriend and, like, go to brunch with you every weekend.
No, yeah, exactly. It's just so crazy to me how, I don't know, how life works, I guess. It's just wild. But it's cool to have somebody that genuinely understands, like, your... like how you are, if that makes sense, like your personality, how you're gonna react. I feel like Gabby can like almost like expect my reaction before I even react to it. Like, she's like thinking ahead, like if she's gonna tell me some bad news, like she's already plotting in her head how I'm gonna react to it and like how she's gonna counter it, like like it's like, I don't know, it's just weird to have somebody understand you to that level. And it's also super dope, and it's like I could hang out with any of my other friends and not once will Gabby give me shit for it. And she could like tomorrow you're gonna hang out with somebody and it's like dope, like hang out with that person, I hope you have a great time. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, like where are we going? Like, am I going to, like, no, it's not like that. It's like you're still, just because you're good friends, you're still allowed to have other good friends.
Yes.
And I feel like that's really important too.
And like onto that, that's kind of like, so we're doing this thing. Maybe it'll just be this episode, and maybe it'll go on to the next ones. But we're going to do, like, advice of the day.
Yes. So it's going to be, like, another segment almost.
Yes. So advice of the day, always be open to new friends, even though you're already happy with the ones you have. They can bring new opportunities and growth. Yes. So I feel like that's a really big thing. Like I said, like, I was friends with Daisy and so many other people from Chipotle, and through them, I became friends with Gabby, and that's been one of the biggest blessings like I've had in the past couple years. So it's just, you have to be really open to and willing to meet new people. I know that, like you said, that you struggle with that a little bit more than like I do. I think sometimes it does bite me in the ass. Like I open myself up to people that like are kind of end up being shitty, or like end up being like not it, But I think like for me, I don't give them everything until I know that like they're cool, or like we're good. I think for you, you're like everything or nothing at all. Like you're all in or you're all out. You're not lying.
So yeah, so I feel like in that sense, like I get why you're like that. But it's definitely good to just keep meeting new people. Yeah. Because you never know. Like maybe you'll meet somebody and they're gonna be the one who introduces you to your future husband. Exactly. Or they're gonna be the one who gets you your dream job. Like, it's like it's not even necessarily that you need to use them for opportunity. It's just the fact that like maybe, you meet a new person, you become really good friends, and it doesn't work out. You're going to grow from that. Yeah. From that
There's
situation.
always something that you could take out of it. And that's why I'm so glad that, like, I, like, live with you and have you around. Because, like, if not, I don't know where I would be. Like, I just don't know. Like, because, like, I, like, tweeted it the other day. I was like, you literally keep me social. Like, you keep me interacted with other human beings who I wouldn't want to talk to or see otherwise.
And I think it's really funny too, because I feel like out of both of us, I think if you were to meet us, unless you already know us, but I think if you were to meet us, like, I think that you're easier to like walk up to or like approach. You're more approachable than I am, which is funny because like in reality, I'm more approachable
You are
than
very
you are.
much more.
Yeah, it's really funny. But I think just like, I don't know if it's an RBF for me or like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and we both have a little bit of RBF, but I don't know. It's just like definitely it depends on like the vibe you give me. If you're definitely like coming to me straight and being like a super sweetheart, like I'm not gonna be a bitch to you.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely gonna be like, oh, like go along with it, however fake it may be. I'm gonna still be nice to you. Like, but once they start talking to you, I think like, cause like you're a talker and just like you know how to keep a conversation going. I'm just like, cool. I got the introduction out of the way. You know me. You know my name. So I was just like, just let Tex like.
Yeah.
I was just like, Lex like just take the wheel.
Yeah. I think too, like if you are like Gabby in the sense where you're a little bit more introverted when you first meet people, I think a really good rule of thumb is actually, and it's something that like I feel like I do, is when you first meet people, try to find something that you guys have in common. Because like let's say like I meet somebody and I'm like, oh my god, you know, like what foundation are you wearing? Like let's say I know a fuck ton about makeup. What foundation are you wearing?
Mm-hmm.
If they have you know their makeup looking nice, clearly they're into makeup like to a certain extent. What foundation are you wearing? Oh dude, I love that foundation. Like blah 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 blah. And it's like you can go on for 10 minutes about fucking foundation.
Yeah.
Or even if you don't know a lot about that, you could be like, oh, you know, like did you play any sports in high school, or like are you into sports, or like whatever. And you could go on about like whatever. Literally there's so many things that you could try to find in common with somebody, unless they're literally just like a mute.
Blah.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, like no. Then it's like,
At that
okay,
point, I'm
bye.
walking away.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, like, I feel like a good rule of thumb is just to always like try to find something that you guys have in common or have like a similar interest in, and then that way that kind of kicks it off. And then from there, you're done talking about foundation. Oh, like where do you work? Oh, like I work at Sephora. Like where do you work? Like blah blah blah.
And I think that's kind of what helped me like get along with like Maitha so well when I first met Maitha, because Maitha's like kind of like a little nerd on the low.
Yeah.
Like she's very much into Marvel. Like, you know, I love like Marvel and like Star Wars and Harry Potter. So it's like I feel like we both kind of had that like, oh, like, and then like, you know, like she's a little ratchet. And like, you know, like if you see me like, you know, enough in the right kind of, you know, time and place.
Setting.
In the right setting, yes, that's the word I was looking for. Like, I get pretty crazy, too.
Yeah, you a little ratchet, too.
I am.
It's funny, because I, like, literally all of my best friends, like, you, Kayla, Maitha, Irene, all of you guys are so fucking ratchet. And I am just not.
I don't get it.
I'm not. I think like a part of me wants to be or something.
Oh, it does.
I think a part of me just wants to like find a stripper pole and just like jump on it, but like I refuse. I don't know what it is.
It's
but.
so funny. So yeah, like that helps like me and mine because she's a little crazy, and like I like letting that little crazy part out of me. So like that's how I kind of bond with people too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. It's a really good way to just try to find like a way to conversate, honestly. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's the episode. We went over a little bit of everything. We got a little off topic a few times, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Fuck it. But yeah, it was a good episode. So the real, the fake, and the toxic.
Yes.
And if you haven't experienced at least one of all three of those things, at least one time, what the fuck am I trying to say? If you haven't experienced all three of those things at least once, sorry, Jesus Christ, then, you know, it might be coming. But don't be resistant of it, because it's a lot of opportunity for self-growth.
Yes.
Through it. So every situation, just think of it as your own way of growth. Like, even if it's a bad situation, just try to grow from it. And I feel like that's the only positive thing that you can really take out of it. Like, if you just look at how bad people just fuck you over, like, whatever the case may be, like, you're just gonna have a pity party and not be happy. And you're not gonna be able to see that in other people, and it's just gonna keep happening to you.
Yeah.
So, keep people that are good for you and healthy for you super close by. But be open to new people, even if they don't end up being the healthiest for you. Yeah,
Absolutely. And like, you know, things happen, like sometimes friendships go wrong, and it's like after you get all that, you know, all the bad things out of the way and you move on, like try and like think of like, you know what, what was this person able to bring to the table with me that I could carry on with, and like, you know, like at least like try and look back at like, wow, like I had like so many good times with this person, and try and think of it that way. Like, okay, like let's think of like the happy times. So it's like you don't want to dwell on all like negativity of like everything that may or may not have went down. So it's like just try and always think of like the good times, the happy times. If you do ever like think about like that toxic person, and just like don't let that person like get in the way of your like headspace.
Yeah,
Exactly. Don't let them live in your head rent free, sis.
Don't give them the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Our breakup video got a lot of views, and we were actually like really shook by it.
No,
we were like really shook by it.
We don't check like our channel like that often. Literally not until like maybe we're planning or about to like record our next episode. We're like, oh, let's check on it.
Yeah.
And we checked, and like I don't know, maybe our moms like got some new
friends.
Dude,
I think like low key our mom's been hyping us up. Like maybe they're in a book club. Like I don't know, but they've been like telling people because people are listening, and like we're super appreciative of it. And you know what? Subscribe. We're up on SoundCloud now officially. Yes. We're working on getting up on Apple Music and Spotify. Maybe we'll be up by the time this episode comes out. Hopefully. But if not, it's not my cup of tea. Follow us on or subscribe. I don't really know what the fuck to say, but like subscribe, I guess, to our YouTube and our SoundCloud, please.
Not my cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea.
This was episode 8.
Yep, episode 8. I can't believe it. We're almost at 10.
Wild.
Can you fucking
believe that? We should
do
something fun for our 10th episode.
We gotta do something crazy for. I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe we should do the video that we were planning on doing.
Ooh.
I don't know. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Bye.